The sun hung low over the savanna, casting long shadows that stretched across the tall grasses. Life 30,000 years ago was unforgiving, shaped by the constant struggle for survival, and every day brought new dangers. Early humans moved cautiously, their senses attuned to the slightest rustle in the brush, the faintest hint of movement. They had learned to read the land as if it spoke a language of survival, a whispered code that warned of predators, storms, and the scarcity of food. Even the most skilled hunter knew that one mistake could be fatal. In the distance, a low growl resonated through the dense foliage, a sound both haunting and commanding. These were not the tigers we know today. They were larger, more powerful, and deadlier, ancient African tiger ancestors that prowled the open plains with a predatory precision unmatched by any other creature. Their amber eyes glimmered with intelligence and hunger, and their massive paws moved silently over the earth, leaving barely a trace. These predators were apex hunters, evolved to kill swiftly, and nothing could escape their notice. The early humans, small in stature but resilient and clever, relied on ingenuity rather than sheer strength. Stone tools glinted in the fading light, sharpened not just for hunting but for defense. They communicated in gestures and subtle calls, a primitive language forged by necessity. As they moved through the tall grass, they observed the signs of predators, the broken branches, the scattered bones, the faint paw prints pressed into the dirt. Every step was calculated, every sound analyzed. They were acutely aware that survival depended on foresight, and even the bravest could not afford to underestimate the forest's silent hunters. A sudden rustle from the thicket froze them in place. The ground trembled under the weight of something enormous. From the shadows emerged a tiger ancestor, its coat patterned with stripes darker and sharper than any modern feline. Muscles rippled under its skin as it stalked, eyes locked on the humans, evaluating them with predator's patience. Heartbeats raced, breaths caught in throats. The humans knew they were being tested. The tiger circled, a living embodiment of primal power, a reminder that the world was ruled by those with teeth and claws as much as by those with tools and cunning. One of the humans, a young hunter, gripped a sharpened spear, feeling its rough surface against his palm. He signaled to the others, and together they formed a loose circle, a primitive shield against the overwhelming strength of the predator. Every instinct screamed to run, yet they held their ground, understanding that fleeing might provoke the tiger into a chase. Survival was a delicate balance of courage and strategy. They had observed the tiger for weeks, noting its behavior, learning its patterns. Now, all that preparation would be put to the ultimate test. The tiger lunged, a blur of power and speed, its claws slicing the air. The humans reacted instantly, thrusting spears, dodging and moving as one. The encounter was a deadly dance, a clash of intellect against raw ferocity. Each strike, each feint carried the weight of life and death. The air was thick with tension, filled with the roars of the predator and the shouts of humans. Dust rose from the ground, mixing with the metallic scent of sweat and blood, marking the savanna as a place where only the adaptable could endure. As minutes stretched into an eternity, it became clear that survival was not just about strength. The humans exploited the tiger's movements, their understanding of strategy turning the tiger's power against itself. Spears struck, forcing the tiger to retreat, reassess, and strike again. It was relentless, yet the humans' cohesion, their improvisation, and their awareness of the land gave them an edge. In this confrontation, intelligence was as lethal a weapon as claws or teeth. The tiger, realizing the humans were not simple prey, paused, growling, eyes narrowed with cautious respect. The humans, equally wary, maintained their circle, ensuring no weakness could be exploited. It was a standoff, a silent negotiation between two apex forces, each measuring the other's limits. The encounter revealed the extraordinary adaptability of early humans, their capacity to observe, predict, and manipulate situations beyond mere instinct. They were not the strongest, but they were smart, resilient, and capable of understanding the predator in a way that few creatures could. Eventually, the tiger retreated into the shadows, its presence a lingering threat that would be remembered in memory and story. The humans exhaled, their bodies tense, their minds alert. Survival had been won not through domination, but through awareness, cooperation, and quick thinking. They had faced the deadliest encounter of their lives and emerged alive, yet forever marked by the experience. The encounter became a lesson in respect for the land, for its creatures, and for the invisible rules that governed existence. As night fell over the savannah, the humans gathered around a fire, its flickering flames a fragile shield against the darkness. They cleaned their tools, treated minor injuries, and shared the events of the encounter. Stories began to form, shaping the collective memory, teaching lessons that would pass down through generations. The tiger's strength was terrifying, but it was the humans' ingenuity that had ensured their survival. Each tale, each observation, was a blueprint for future encounters, a survival manual etched not in paper, but in the mind. Life 30,000 years ago was a constant negotiation with danger. Predators were abundant, weather was unpredictable, and resources scarce. Yet early humans were more than passive participants in this world. They were active problem solvers, observers, and learners. Every encounter, every narrow escape honed their abilities and sharpened their understanding of the ecosystem. They evolved not just physically, but cognitively, creating strategies and tools that gave them a remarkable edge over far stronger and more dangerous creatures. The African tiger ancestor would return, as all predators do, drawn by the rhythms of hunger and instinct, but the humans would be ready, their minds and bodies shaped by previous encounters. They moved forward with caution, ever aware of the precariousness of life, but strengthened by the knowledge that they had survived the deadliest encounters. It was a world of extremes, where only the adaptable thrived, and where survival demanded more than strength. It demanded understanding, patience, and unyielding courage. In the end, these encounters defined the course of evolution. The humans who survived passed on not just genes, but knowledge. They learned the importance of cooperation, of observation, of daring and restraint in equal measure. The African tiger ancestors remained apex predators, yet their dominance was challenged by minds that could think, predict, and adapt. It was a silent, brutal lesson. In a world ruled by instinct and ferocity, intelligence and ingenuity could level the playing field. And so, life continued 30,000 years ago, on the edges of savannas, forests, and rivers. Early humans walked the fine line between predator and prey, mastering tools, building strategies, and weaving stories that would echo through millennia. Every encounter, every moment of danger was an opportunity to learn, to survive, and to thrive.